Great question, Ezra. So your credit report, I say this like, let's remember our days in school. Your end of year report that said Ezra A in maths, B in science, C in English. It's a document. So on your credit report, it's Ezra, who you borrowed from, when you borrowed, who are you going to repay them back, your addresses on file, if you've made a joint application with you and your partner. It's a whole documented report online about you. And then the credit
All right, welcome back, Natasha, and thank you very much. I think our conversation last week was really good, and I did say that I'll ask you to come back and continue the conversation. And today our focus is on understanding the credit score, the credit report, and just debt in general, how to manage it, how do we dig ourselves out of these situations that sometimes we find ourselves in. So I'm actually did a list of questions that I would like to ask you, because I think this is a very, very, very important conversation that I didn't want to miss some questions, because I know there are specific questions that people out there, they want to know the answers to, and this is an opportunity for them to have that information to help them to navigate whatever situation that they have with their debt at the moment. So I guess the starting point is to understand what credit score is. But because we hear a lot of people talking about credit score, credit report, but not many of us understand what that means and how does it look like. And also, what are the most common mistakes that people make to get them in a situation where they end up with a bad credit score?
Yeah. Ezra, thank you for having me. I appreciate your time. So the credit system in the UK, credit is borrowed money. We are allowed to go to, I call it the system, the banks, the financial institutions, and borrow money. Obviously, our salary, our resources, there'll be a time that is not enough and that we need to borrow some. And then there's a conversation about repayment terms. So credit is borrowed money. Now we have different options of how we can borrow in the form of a loan. A mortgage is a borrowed money, credit cards, payday loans, loan shocks. There's a variety of loans and where you can borrow money from. Now, every type has its repayment plans and it has its consequences. So sometimes people think, oh, I'm just going to borrow and I'm just going to repay them every month, 2%, 5%, and I'll be finished in 1 year. However, all these institutions have different repayment terms, different terms and conditions, and different consequences that we do not read into. Therefore, we get ourselves into debt, and then we make worse mistakes trying to get ourselves out of one hole. We put ourselves in another hole, and then there's a vicious cycle. So that's in a nutshell the credit system. Now, we are judged by a score. I always say that in life, I don't know you're good at maths until I give you a maths test. I don't know you're good with borrowed money until I lend you some and you repay me back. And if you repay me back timely, if you repay me back with the right amount of interest. So the system is testing your borrowing capabilities, and they judge you and they give you a score. So in the United Kingdom, it's between 0 and 800, and we are scored. And now that score will follow you anytime you want to borrow money, even simply something like your phone contract. It is actually borrowed money because you've gone and got the phone, the physical phone, plus the airtime, and you've borrowed from, for example, the phone provider, and now you're making monthly installments to the phone provider. So something as small as missing your repayment on your phone contract affects your credit score. And we overlook our phone because we think we've paid for our phone, but we haven't. We've borrowed money to buy the latest phone, and you're making repayments. So people really need to understand that a lot of it is borrowed and it's judged, and you're on your credit score. So some of the mistakes that people do when they take out loans or they borrow from the system is simply 3 things. If you have to borrow, please, please, please read the terms and conditions, the consequences. Bank A may charge you 10%, Bank B may charge you 20%. One, can you afford Bank A or can you afford Bank B? Realistically. And the thing that I emphasize realistically, because we think in our minds that every month we always have £200 spare, £300 spare. So I'm always okay. But I'm a big advocate for having it on a spreadsheet and then you see. So Ezra, I will ask people if they, after the show, they can download my Excel spreadsheets, a budgeting spreadsheet. It's really easy to use. Pull in your figures and it will churn out what you actually pay out. Then you can really decide for yourself, can I now insert line G, borrowed money from this credit card at an interest rate of 10%. Every month they're going to take out £200. Once you've inserted that line, then you're realistically going to know if you can repay it. And the thing about the spreadsheet, it will extrapolate for 6 months, right? Or 12 months into the year. Then you can know every month, can I afford it? Because there could be a family event in June, which means you need to travel. So therefore, already you've taken out the hotel expense in June, but you haven't factored in your new repayment to credit card company A at £200. So this spreadsheet is amazing. Anything that you need to do, insert a line and it will help. So that's one mistake. We don't understand the repayment plans of this borrowed money. Secondly, we have to inform the institutions when we move addresses. When we move from flat A to flat B, you could be living on 16 High Street. If you move next door to 17 High Street, please inform them that you've moved. Why? Because if I've given you something that I value, I want to know where you live. So when I need to update you of information, I can find you. People don't like giving people stuff if they're invisible, and not declaring your address to a provider means that you're invisible and they can't find you when they need you, so they don't want to work with you. So you have to declare when you move address. So even if you've been there for 2 weeks, it will ask you where were you staying before that. Then you say 16 High Street, but I want to know your current address and your previous address. So that's really important to update your address. If obviously life and circumstances, you have to move from your mum's house to your best friend's house, then you move to your auntie's house. Do you have a stable address where you can receive your messages, receive your posts until your living situation is stabilized? So that's number 2. Number 3, as human beings, sometimes we become desperate and we become greedy. What do I mean? You want to borrow from company A, B, C, D, and E. When you keep on putting an application down for these institutions, you look desperate. There's too many searching. Company A will see that you've applied to company B and C and D, because we have to remember we're in a digital age. Big Brother is watching us. There's nothing that we're doing that the system doesn't know. Our browsers, our IP address is being shared. I say this to say, if you look desperate, I tell people all the time, it's like going on a dating app and you keep on liking these girls, like. The original girl will be like, you keep on liking all of us. You don't make me feel special. So I'm saying this to say, limit the amount of searches. If you know you want company A and company B, stick to those two. Don't apply from company C, D, and E. Too many searches reduces your score because you look desperate. Then the provider is like, why does this person need this money at this amount of time? And they're desperate. So be a bit calculated when you're doing your search, 1 or 2, and apply. That's why they'll call some searches a soft search and a hard search. Some companies will allow you to do a soft search. That means you're searching, but it's not being recorded on your credit score. That's allowed. But then if you, after the soft search, you proceed with the application, it's now become a hard search, and the hard search stays on your credit score. So please, again, be mindful and read when it pops up. This is a soft search. Do you want to proceed? You say yes or no. And finally, one of the mistakes with borrowed money is that we maximize the allowance. So I was young. Obviously, we've all been young. I got excited with my first credit card. I think I was like £1,000 20 years ago. As soon as I got it, Oxford Street, did all my shopping, I finished £1,000, right? Now, when you maximize or you utilize the whole allowance, you've shown the credit card company that you're desperate and you haven't been mindful with your spending. When you max it out, it also affects your score. They look at your utilization. So it's advised that if they give you a certain amount, utilize 30%. Do not use the whole £30,000. Use just £300 of the £1,000, because they want to see that you've left a balance, that you're not thirsty, that you're not desperate. It's such a weird system, but looking greedy and looking desperate is a bit frowned upon in this credit system. So don't do too many searches and don't maximize it. So I know you're happy they gave you £1,000 credit limit, £5,000 credit limit. They gave you £10,000 credit. So you think you can spend it all. Take time. Do not utilize it to the maximum. Utilize it at 30%. And it's even wise to utilize it at 30%. Why? Because you're now going to be able to repay 30% comfortably and in full. Another problem with the credit score is simply this. When we're now making the repayments, the credit card company wants to charge you the interest, 10%. They're going to say the minimum is £5. Bearing in mind, you've got £995 on it because they want to charge you interest on £995. So they're going to just say, oh, the minimum is £5. One, pay more than the minimum and ideally pay the maximum, so therefore you're not even paying them any interest. But if you've utilized that credit card to £1,000, you've got 30 days to find £1,000 to pay these people back in full. It's difficult. Whereas sometimes it's easy to pay the 300 in 30 days in full. So they are actually trying to help you by utilizing it, but we don't know that we don't know the order. So I say this to say, let me summarize. Get the credit card, because I don't know you're good with credit until I test you. So please take it out if you need to. When you do take it out, do not maximize it to the maximum. Do not go straight to full use. Use 30%, pay it off in full. Now, I know people haven't heard my message. People haven't heard other podcasts, other people talking about this. So I do have a spreadsheet. Again, there's a budgeting spreadsheet and a debt spreadsheet. You put in how much you owe, the interest rate, and it will calculate it for you. And then I can explain further. But it's so important not to maximize the credit and understand your credit score. So there's going to be credit apps as well, credit reporting agencies that can help you tell you your score and your report. And it goes further like that. Sorry, Ezra, I got straight into it and started talking.
That is really good. That is really good. You've given us a lot of information on there. But what I've taken away from it is important. Stability is very important when it comes to your credit score and credit report. You need to be someone who's not moving around. And if you do move, you have to tell your creditors that I have moved. You also touched on how to use the credit. Yes, you can. You have the credit now. How do you use it so that it doesn't affect your credit score?
Yeah.
Again, am I right in thinking that your credit score is kind of like a measure of how people can, or how creditors can trust you with their money?
Yeah, a credit score is a measure of trustworthiness, and it will follow you. So when I say it follows you, a report, when I said a hard search, it will stay on your file for 6 years. Then it's wiped off that you did a search in 2006, for example. So now we're in 2025. Whatever searches you done in 2018, 2017 is not on your credit report. The search stays on your report for 6 years. Any late payments that you've made in your time is only on your file for 6 years. So if you made a late payment on your credit card last year, it will remain on your file for 5 years. So somebody else who now comes to search you will say, oh, 2022, Natasha made a late payment on her car, mental note. Or 2020, Natasha made a late payment on her phone contract. Or when we cancel our phone contract, sometimes we just cancel it abruptly, but the phone provider hasn't given us our final bill. And that final bill where you're not paying it is actually impeding your credit file. But yes, these reports will stay on your file for 6 years. So that's why somebody who goes through bankruptcy, for example, it will be on their report for 6 years. So that's how it, so it is a record of trustworthiness. So as again, what you did in 2020, 2021 is on file. So we have, that's why you need to check your report. So you can use an agency called Clear Score, create a free account. It'll give you your score, how many, where you've searched, who you owe money to. So it gives you an idea of who is looking at you and how close you are to the end where it will be removed from your file.
Okay. So you mentioned credit score and you also mentioned credit report.
Yeah.
What is the difference between, is it the same thing or is it two different things?
Great question, Ezra. So your credit report, I say this like, let's remember our days in school. Your end of year report that said Ezra, A in maths, B in science, C in English, is a document. So on your credit report, it's Ezra, who you borrowed from, when you borrowed, who are you going to repay them back, your addresses on file, if you've made a joint application with you and your partner. Is a whole documented report online about you. And then the credit score is like next to your credit report. Ezra is 600 out of 800. So just think of it as in school report. You've got your report. Ezra is a very great student at school. He's hardworking. Your teacher will give you that paragraph. Then they will give you your overall mark in school, A, B, C, D. You know what I mean? That's how the credit report and the credit score work together. A documented report with all your information. Then we summarize that report with a score.
All right. Thank you very much for that. It makes a lot of sense, but you made me sound very clever with all the A's and the B's. Right. So, okay. So let's say someone is listening now.
Yeah.
And this message is coming to them a little bit late. They are in a situation already. They are feeling overwhelmed with debt. They owe a lot of people. What's the starting point?
Okay. If you owe a lot of people, we need to write it down, who you owe, how much you owe. So a pen, a paper, an app, or something, write it down. I owe Thames Water £1,000. I owe British Gas £600. I owe my car finance £500. Let us know who you owe. 2, you're then going to contact these institutions and say, I so and so have a problem repaying these debts. Can we negotiate and maybe freeze the interest? Some institutions will freeze and making you accrue interest. They'll still keep it as of today. You owe £5,000, but tomorrow we'll stop charging you interest. So that's why I need you to write it down and contact them so that we can freeze it. Because if you don't freeze it, the interest is just getting higher and higher and higher, and you're digging yourself in a grave. So 2, you ask them if you can freeze it. Once you've asked them if you can freeze it, then you negotiate with them. Can I pay you, instead of £50 a month because it's too much, can I pay you £10 a month? Again, in life, I say to say, if you don't ask for help, no one will help you. So it's so important to just ask. You never know. Somebody who will see your email or your letter in the customer service center and say, okay, we'll help this person. But if you don't ask, they don't help. So please, 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 I'll send you guys a free template of how to write a letter to your creditors. Dear so-and-so, I, Natasha, need help, blah, blah, blah. However, these institutions will only help you if you can show to them your budget, because they want to see on pen and paper that you truly can't afford the repayments. So they are a bit intrusive, but they have to be, because you've said you can't afford it. But we all lie. So you need to show on your budget. That's why I'm a big advocate for having the spreadsheet. So we're going to have that spreadsheet with the letter and email them. So again, if you guys want my spreadsheet, just download it. It's free. You're going to use that spreadsheet to show them that at the end of the month, you've got £50 left. That's why you're asking for repayments of £10 so that you can carry on holding £40. So that is the strategy. So you really need the budgeting spreadsheet to show them that you don't have enough. And everything I am saying, I have been there. I have got myself in a lot of trouble. Those days, Citizens Advice Bureau, and they still exist, are very helpful. I went there, and what I'm telling you is what they told me. Tasha, write it down, who you owe. write me your budget, why you can't afford it. Here's a letter, add this letter, this budget, send it to them. And truly, they froze my repayments, and now I paid them like £5 a month, because at the time I couldn't afford it, and it's now as my direct debit, and it goes off autopilot, and it helps. Yes, Ezra, he's going to ask a question.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question. Like you pointed out, we all been through this situation. You get credit, you don't know how to use it, you go crazy with it, you find yourself in a situation, right? And personally for me, what I did was just to avoid opening those letters.
Yeah.
You know, what would you say to someone who's in that situation now? The letters are coming in nonstop. The phone calls are coming in. You're ignoring them. How, what can they do?
Please do not ignore them. These people, I call them dogs who bark, and they will not stop barking until you give them a bone. Please do not ignore them, because they're paying people in the customer service center to print off letters. It's not costing them money. So they are happy to write you letters every day for the next 10 years. They're happy to have somebody in the call center call you. They will annoy you and be barking at you. So it's inevitable. Open the letter. That's why there are charities out there, Citizens Advice Bureau, Step Change Debt Charity, who will help you. Even if you don't want to open it, take the letters, go to the the charity and say, this is my situation. I don't even know how much I owe, because I can't open it, because when I open it, I feel overwhelmed, I feel disgraced, I feel silly for even getting myself. And that's what their charity are there for, to help people. So please don't dig yourself a grave. Do not ignore it, because trust me, they will not stop barking. So let's open it up. Let's write down who it is, because now that I've given you a solution, you should be feeling a bit more empowered to open it. Because what's the worst they're going to do? You open it up, you see, even if now is £1,000,000 you owe, you showed them your budgeting spreadsheet, you showed them your part-time job, you earn £50 or whatever, take home pay £2,000. By the time you pay X, Y, Z, A, B, C, you've got £50 to your name. They can't take money that you don't have, but we can discuss and say, for the next 20 years, I'll pay £5 a month. They'll rather take your £5 a month. That will pay the overheads of the call center, the overheads of staff, than for you to not pay them anything. So it's a win-win. There's power in opening the letter, because now I've given you a solution. So don't be scared about opening the letter. They're dogs. They bark. They will stop. But you have to open the letter. I know these institutions are now going to find me on social media. Did you call us dogs?
That's dogs. But I guess there will be someone listening to you and saying, okay, you obviously know what you're saying, you've experienced it.
Yeah.
And but they don't have the confidence to actually set themselves up in terms of, like, okay, you talked about the spreadsheet that they can download from your website, and I will put the link in the description box below. But sometimes people just don't know how to use those things. How do they set it up? And I know you work with individuals to help them. Would you like to tell people how you help people in that situation?
Sure. I help people. So people book a call with me, and I go through their budgeting spreadsheet and the debt spreadsheet. So let me explain what I do. I give these spreadsheets out for free. They're very, very packed. All the tabs at the bottom, all you need to do is put the numbers in. But if you struggle and you need advice or you need further information, I'll give Ezra my calendar, book a call with me, and I can go into deeper about how to write the letter, the key words, because in life, every institution, I like to say, has a key word that they want you to know that you know, so that you put it in the email that makes them do the thing quickly. So if you don't know the keywords, please book a call with me, and I'll top you up with the information on the spreadsheet, the budgeting spreadsheet, and then there's a debt spreadsheet. They're two completely different spreadsheets, and then we can do 30 minutes, and I can go into deeper of who, how, what, when, and let's resolve this money issue quickly and safely and responsibly.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you very much for that. And I think most of these issues, they come about when we apply for credit cards, we apply for loans, but we don't understand the interest rates.
Yes.
So is there any advice in terms of like how can we apply for these credit cards by being mindful of the interest rates and what you get yourself into? I know you touched earlier on about read the small print, so say read the contract, and most of us, we don't read the contract to really understand.
With the digital age that we live in, we have our phone, we have internet, and there are websites called comparethemarket.com or those comparison websites. So every institution has a credit card. So you go through and compare credit card A and credit card B, because there will always be a difference. Credit card A may be 10%, but the reason why the interest rate is low is because they're looking for people with a higher credit score. Because what happens is, to go back to your previous question, Ezra, if you have a good credit score and you're trustworthy with money, we are going to give you more, and we're going to give it to you at a lower rate because you've passed the test. Whereas people who are not great with credit, who don't borrow well, who have a low score, 200, 300, we are going to charge you higher interest, 30%. But it's the same £1,000. But between me and Ezra, I could have 10% interest. Ezra will have 30% because our two credit scores are different. So we are judged by our credit score, and therefore the interest rate is determined by our credit score. So I say this to say, when you go to the comparison website, or if you go through the credit agency like the Clear Score, based on your credit score, they will tell you what credit card companies most likely to say yes to you based on your score. So that would determine what interest rate you will receive. Then you're going to go to this free spreadsheet that you're going to download, and you're going to put that interest rate into my debt spreadsheet. And then for the next 2 years at 30%, every month I'm going to be paying £200 a month. Then if it's reasonable for you. But the first thing to know is that you have to go to the comparison websites and pick what credit card they will give you based on your score. So you don't have a choice. What they're offering you is what they'll give you because your score is low. So if you have a low score, you have option A, B, and C. If you have a high score, you have option A to Z. Because you're so great with money, they give you so many options. You know what I mean? But when you're not very good with money, they give you 3 options, and they're very tight, stringent. And it's even, I want to say, it's so bad that it's like there is wickedness how bad the credit card option is for people with a low credit score. You know what I mean? So you don't have variety. It's like going to a supermarket and you only have option of crisps, where somebody who has money has options of crisps, tortilla, savory, sweets, Italian, American. You have variety because you have money. Whereas when you don't have money, you have one option. And that option could cause you to be obese and make you even more in debt. I digress. But comparison website for the interest, put it in my spreadsheet. It'll calculate how long, how much, and if you can really afford it.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about people who are kind of trying to build their credit. My understanding is you actually have to apply for credit for you to start building your credit history or a credit score.
Yeah.
And how does that work for people who don't understand how that works?
Yeah. Again, it goes back to my maths test analogy. Because I don't know you, I have to test you. And people don't like being tested in life. But I don't know how great you are until I test you. So please do not avoid the test. Do not avoid not applying for the credit card. You need to take it, but the trick is I've told you the cheat code to pass the test. So therefore go and pass the test, because some people don't take the credit card because no one's told them the cheat sheet, and people don't want to go to a test without the cheat sheet, which is fair enough. But now there's a cheat sheet. Go and apply for the credit card, utilize 30% and compare the interest rate. So yes, please take it out. Unfortunately, because it's your first credit, they'll probably give you £200, £500. They're testing you. It's a maths test. It's level 3 maths. They're going to give you small and easy. Then as you go bigger and further, it gets higher it gets more tempting. They're going to see if you're going to trip, or are you going to fall, or are you going to stumble. They start now pinching you. But please do not avoid it, because, Ezra, like you've heard me say 1,000 times, the unexpected will happen to every single one of us. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. And you want that credit card to be in your purse or your wallet. So just in case, I'm from Ghana, just in case I get a call, I have to go for a funeral or I have to go to a wedding, I have the credit card that has the amount to buy me a plane ticket. And you know what I mean? So you're getting it for the unexpected phone call. That's why, and that's another reason why I don't want people to maximize the credit card. Because if they've given you £1,000 and you've gone to Oxford Street and you spent it, then you get the phone call. What other credit card are you going to use to buy a ticket to go to Ghana, or fix the boiler, or fix the 4 tires on your car? So that's why the credit card is not there for maximum pleasure. It's for 30% pleasure for the unexpected phone call that you may get. So yes, Ezra, please, everybody listening, if you don't have one, please get one. Don't maximize it. Use 30%.
It's discipline, isn't it? You have
It
to
is.
disciplined enough to understand that this is no free money.
There's
You have
no
to pay
free
at some
money.
point.
No, there's no free money at all.
It's amazing how many people have fallen into that trap, and most of the times it's just because you don't have the information, you don't have the knowledge, and like we touched on last week in the previous episode, that these things are not being taught in schools. It's the things that you have to pick up on your own as an adult and try and understand these things. But these are the things that we need in our everyday kind of life. So yeah. Okay, so let's say someone is looking for a loan. They've been rejected. Obviously, their credit history is not good enough, and they're starting to think now, what can I do to improve my chances next time to get a loan?
Okay, so if you've had a loan and you've been rejected, again, it's gone back to your credit report. They've assessed you. They don't like you, so they don't want to give it to you. However, there will always be a restaurant that will specialize in your cuisine. So if this restaurant doesn't give you the food that you like, there will be another one who will give you the loan. However, if you keep on applying too many times, like I said before, you're making your credit score even worse. So if you've done the loan and you've been rejected and it's your first loan, you can try your second time. But make sure your second time that you're trying, you've really assessed the likelihood that they will give it to you. Hence, you go to ClearScore, and ClearScore will say you are 90% likely to succeed. Right? So you want to go for the application that says 90%. If none of the application says you're going to be 90% likely to succeed, realistically, you're not going to get a loan. Don't put another hard search on your report. Now, if the item or the thing that you're doing is so important and you've been rejected from the loan, this is where people start borrowing from friends and family and the local loan shark, the community lender who's not very community. He's very, so you have to weigh up what you wanted that loan for. Is it necessary? Can you wait 6 months? So when I say don't do too many searches, they'll tell you to pause. 6 months time, try again. So what you want the money for, can you wait and try again 6 months time? That's another thing that you would do. But you have to go by your credit report and see the likelihood that you'll get it based on your score. And you have 2 chances, realistically. Any more after that, you look desperate and you're making the hard search remain on your file.
Okay. So 6 months, you get another opportunity to try again, and again, try maximum twice. If it doesn't work, then try another 6 months. And I guess in that 6 months, you need to be working on some things if there are things that you have not been paying and catching up with those bills, because you have to do something to fix what's going on.
So in that 6 months, again, ClearScore will tell you your score is low based on 3, 4, 5 factors. They may tell you you haven't updated your address, or they may remind you that you've been late on payment. So therefore, you've got 6 months to try and improve the days that you make repayment. So you put a note on your calendar, 25th of the month, phone. Make sure you pay even 2 days before the 25th because it needs to clear. So some people see the repayment 25th and make the repayment on the 25th. I would suggest make it on the 22nd, and you are allowed to change the date of your direct debit. So it sounds obvious, but if you're getting paid on the 28th of the month, why are direct debits coming out on the 27th? You haven't been paid. Your account is likely to be £20 and you want all your direct debits to come out. So tell the provider, payday's on the 28th. So can my direct debits come out on the 1st of the month? So this gives you 3 days of space. Then you have all your direct debits coming out. So you can change the direct debit so you don't feel tight, so you don't miss a payment. Because the worst thing you want to do is for them to go into your account and there be insufficient funds, and then that direct debit is cancelled, then your bank is contacting you and it's a whole mess. Make sure your direct debits align with payday.
And everything that you're saying here, it goes back to your kind of relationship with money, your financial well-being, that relationship that you have. What is maybe just one thing that someone who's listening now can start doing to improve their financial well-being?
Ezra, you only gave me one. I want to say like 2 or 3.
I'll give you 3.
The first thing you have to do, I've said it in the previous podcast, know yourself. What is your personality with money? Are you saver? Are you spender? And really be honest, because there's no right or wrong answer. It's you. And are you right or are you wrong? You're a human being. You have a personality. Own it. You're a saver. Great. You're a spender. Great. Now that you know which type you are, then the next thing you need to do, if you're a spender, what makes you spend unnecessarily? Is it the TikTok? Is it the Instagram? Is it peer pressure? Do you have so many people in Africa, the Caribbean, Asia that you're responsible for, that you having to always send them money? So even the spending, you're not spending it on yourself. It's just that you're looking after a lot of people. So that you need to understand you and your circumstances. Once you've understand you and your circumstances, then the next habit you have to now ask yourself is, I'm a spender. I have a lot of people who I look after. Who is a priority? We can't serve everybody. Pick 2, 3 family members or 2 things that makes you happy. Because some people, they don't like stopping the coffee at Starbucks, for example. If that's your non-negotiable, sure, but there must be something else you can compromise on. We are all have our non-negotiables and our negotiables. Know thyself, know what your thing is and own it. And then whatever you can compromise on, compromise. So if it's clothing, you're not really into clothing, great, you'll buy clothes every 2 months. But if you are into clothing, before you buy the outfit, find a discount code. That's why I said in the other one, I have like 10 email addresses. I like shopping, but I just know that I'll make sure that it was a discount code, so at least I knew I didn't pay full price. And the thing that I'm going to buy, am I going to utilize it 3, 4, 5, 10 times? There's no point me buying an orange top and wearing it once. Am I going to buy this top and wear it with black trousers, navy trousers, a skirt? Sometimes we buy things and utilize it once. When there's certain things, it can be reusable. But peer pressure, that I know a friend, she's on Instagram and she's always posting. She doesn't like to repeat her outfits. And I'm like, sweetheart, who's got money to be doing every day new post, new outfit? Then the outfit that you bought, what are you doing with it? Oh, it's just underneath my bed. One day your bed will explode because there's no space. I say this to say the financial habits is to know yourself, what it is that makes you happy, what it is that takes away some of your resources, and then decide who's a priority and who's not a priority. And again, if you don't know, have a budgeting spreadsheet, find out where your money is going, because sometimes you think you're very good with money, but this spreadsheet will open your eyes and make you see that actually I'm not that great, or I think I'm top, but you're really not top. You need to, the spreadsheet will humble you. It will really humble you. So please, guys, download the spreadsheet. Just insert these numbers and look at where your money goes.
that was my next question actually, about budgeting.
Okay.
How can someone actually start getting into budgeting now? We know that we need to protect our credit score, credit report. We know we have to develop a better relationship with money, and one of those things is to understand budgeting, know where your money is going. In the last episode, I told you I was one of those people who say, I don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
It comes into my account, it goes somewhere, I don't know where it goes. How can we start having those visual
Yeah.
of understanding where your money is going?
Please, everyone, if you've ever taken anything from me, a budgeting spreadsheet is gold dust. Have it on your laptop. See it feely with your eyes. This every month, £60 went here, £50 went here, £20 went here. Then you see it totaling it up. It's just so empowering to see it. Then now that you've seen it, then you can say, do you know what? I don't like row G. I don't like row X. I don't like row Y. You can do something with it. But when you rely on your app or you rely on your bank statement, no one goes through their bank statement. We don't. We just want to make sure that there's a positive balance. But I know you want to see a positive balance, but you also need to see where it went. There's no point having a fantastic car on the outside, but the inside, the engine is dodgy and the oil needs changing. So I'm saying this to say, have the visual of the beautiful car outside. Your bank balance is always positive. Great, I'm happy for you. But look inside your bank balance by having it on a spreadsheet and seeing where it goes, because I will then tell you, because I'm a horrible, annoying big sister. Insert line N, or let's call it line N for Natasha. Insert line N. Natasha said you've got a phone call. You're going to Ghana next month. £600, no, £1,000 plane ticket, British Airways. Can you afford it? I want you to be able to tell me yes. I want you to say, yes, Tasha, I can afford it and I'll be comfortable. If you can't afford an unexpected of £1,000 in 2025, we have a problem, people. We have a problem. So this is why I talk so much about it. If you can't afford an unexpected thing that happens to you today, £1,000, you don't have £1,000 under your bed, in a savings account somewhere. So please, guys, get the spreadsheet. Write in a comment in the chat, Tasha, I don't have a savings £1,000. I'll help you. But 2025, the economy is crazy. The American economy, we as UK, we are all interlinked with each other. It just takes one call, one mad president to say there's a war. It takes one dodgy something, and it's I sound like one call to spoil your life. One phone call, one news alert, one email, one. Doesn't take 10, one.
So you have to be prepared.
And men, no offense, but that girl will call you and say she's pregnant. What are you going to do?
Now you have to be prepared. No, I think that's very true, because obviously some of our listeners are young, very young adults, people who are starting to get into relationships. Probably some people are going to university and stuff like that. It's important to understand money, how to use it, and how it can work for you. And having that cushion that, one day something goes wrong, I can get up and go wherever I need to be. It just gives you that peace of mind, isn't it? That's where we talk about mental well-being, in terms of if you're struggling with money, it's most likely going to affect your mental well-being.
No doubt.
We have to be very mindful of those things. Okay, so everyone talks about financial freedom. What does that look like?
Before I answer that question, I just wanted to touch on the relationship. Another reason why I want people to download the spreadsheet, because I want you to do the spreadsheet, and I wanted to give you to your potential partner, your current partner, so they can do that spreadsheet. Because a lot of relationships, number one or number two argument is always money. So before people do marriage counseling or whatever it is, they're dating each other, Let one of the dating conversations be, do you have a budgeting spreadsheet? Are you good with money? Because I just need to know who I'm walking with. You know what I mean? So you are doing it for yourself, and you're doing it to make your partner be aware of their financial habits. So when you do become one, when you are in a relationship with them, you both know from the beginning, my partner's a spender or I'm a saver. So we're going to tread carefully and so and so. So the spreadsheet is also not just for you, the spreadsheet is for your partner. If you're a single parent, the spreadsheet is for your child. It's for every single person who handles money. You need the corresponding budgeting spreadsheet. You can't have money without a budgeting app or a spreadsheet, in my opinion. Because I said in the previous talk, money is a tool, it's a hammer, but you need to have the tools to show you how to use the hammer, and your budget will tell you how to use your money, because your budget will tell you if your hammer is too heavy for you or too light for you, if you're not holding it well. It's all about technique. Budgeting is about technique, and it's going to show you where your technique is strong or poor. So the budgeting app is not just for you, it's for your partner, it's for your child. Everybody should have their own app. Therefore, when you become a unit or you become a community, Tasha's really good with money. So Tasha can lend some to Ezra at a decent rate. Then communities are starting to borrow from one another. I know that happens a lot with the Jewish community. We all know each other's strengths, who's got the better credit score. Obviously, you write a contract with each other so no one does anybody bad. But you're starting to understand what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, who can help me. Then we are all accountable to each other. There's no point me doing a spreadsheet and you, Ezra, you don't do one. How are we going to work together? So let's use the spreadsheet just as an awareness, as an enlightenment, and then we can take it there. So that's why the friction in relationships is so important, that deal with it, because if money is typically a big argument. Then imagine I have a spreadsheet, you have a spreadsheet, then we have a child, then we're inserting lines for the cot, the pushchair, we're both inserting lines, then we both know how we can afford our lifestyle with the child. You know what I mean? But you can't do that if you're always just looking at your bank balance. Oh, it's positive, I'm okay. There's good positive, and then there's really good positive. You know what I mean? So and again, I keep on saying life will life you. So therefore, insert lines. Do you know what? If I do have a child 2 years from now and my money is not great now, I need to work on it, because the child will take your money. Listen, children they smell money. I thought I liked money, but children like money better than me. Children they're a blessing, but they will take your money. So let's be prepared with the app. So anyway, Ezra, you asked me a question. See, I'm talking too much.
Yes, that's fine.
You said something about freedom.
Financial freedom, what does that look like?
Financial freedom to me is knowing that you can pay your bills comfortably. Now, how you define comfortably is subjective. What I think is comfortably is I can pay all my bills and maybe have £500 left. Somebody can say I can pay all my bills and I have £50 left. They are even happy. It's all different. But financially, to be free is to not have the burden of paying certain people and the pressure to pay people off. I just don't want people knocking on my door or barking at me. For me, freedom is not having anybody bark at me and say, where's my money? That's the ultimate. If I don't have, but I don't owe anybody, I am free. That's my definition of financial freedom, that I don't owe anybody. Now, in the system in the UK, a lot of us have bought houses 25 years. So obviously we owe banks. That's different, because you're buying a house in the hope that the house would appreciate in value. So therefore, yes, you are paying, but it will grow in value, that you'll be able to take a lump sum out. So there's good debt and bad debt. But I'm saying all of this to say, financially, freedom is to have no dog barking at me. That's my aim. I don't want no one coming for me. Don't come for me.
Yeah, no, I understand that. In terms of, like you said, it's subjective. For me, I think there's a certain level of comfort I find in when I get paid, I pay my bills and everything. I don't like my account to go below a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
The moment it does, I start feeling anxious.
Yeah.
It's not that there's no money in there. There's money in there, but I just don't like it to go below that certain figure.
Yeah.
And that for me is like, okay, I'm free, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess yeah, you're
And
right.
can I just add to that? Where you don't want to go below a certain figure, I have a friend and her husband is very similar to what you said. But my friend doesn't mind going below his below. And they're always complaining, this is my below, but this is my below. Let me take your below to my level. And he's like, no, I don't want to go to your level. So it's such an interesting dynamic that Ezra, you have a figure in your mind. I don't want to go below this. But your partner will say, sweetheart, bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it. Before you know, your discipline that you had when you were single, yeah, I don't go below. Now your partner is testing you. You see how life is a test. Your partner is now testing you. How can I squeeze Ezra to come down? Come down. So it's about having resolve. And it's about showing your partner that this is my budgeting spreadsheet. I can't afford to go low because Natasha is in my ear. She's going to insert line AN called life. And sweetheart, if something happens to us, can we afford it? Then when you've showed your partner the spreadsheet, they'll be like, I understand why you don't want to go below this level. But if you don't show people I keep on talking about maths because I kind of liked maths in school. But if you don't show people you're working out, we don't know if you understood the maths concept. That's why your teacher would always say, show you're working out. They want to see you know the steps. So show your partner the steps.
Yeah.
Then they will see where your madness or why you're so weird is coming from.
I think, like you said last time, that it's the people around you that kind of help you or bring you down. And for me, it was the other way around. The one was useless with money.
And you were bringing Madame down and down and down and
And
down.
Madame was like, let's talk about this. I was like, listen, it's fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. We get paid again next month.
But if you don't have an honest, candid conversation with your partner and let them see your spreadsheet, they don't see what you're talking about. They don't see it because you're always happy, you're smiling, you're nodding your head. So they think everything is cool. But typically you're holding the burden and not opening your letters and you're secretly hiding the paper because you don't want her to see. Show it. As my mom would say, air your dirty laundry. Let them see you. And then if you love me, you'll love me at -1, -1,000, -50,000. The same way you should love me at +50, +1,000, +100. Air your dirty laundry. This is my budget. I'm always in minus. I'm always in my overdraft. It's me. I'm working on it. Do you want to walk with me? Yes or no? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like we're in couples counseling now, aren't we? And I think as well, like, you never know how someone is going to react until you give them the information and tell them exactly what it is. Because you might be carrying it for years that they're not going to understand my situation, and you're struggling on your own. Then one day you open up and they say, "Oh, why didn't you tell me years ago? Let's sit down. Let's see how we can fix it up. Fix it up, and let's move on." And I think people get hurt more by you holding it back and not telling, not sharing your situation and pretending like everything is fine. So I think that's okay.
And also, when you air your dirty laundry and the person knows you can't afford it, they're not going to now come and ask you for the Cartier bracelet because they've seen the spreadsheet and they saw that you can't afford it. So it's not as if you're being stingy. You truly don't have it. You know what I mean? But some men, they want to show us that they have, but they don't have. And then just say it. You don't have.
Right. So it just reminded me, like, growing up, I saw my dad used to, you go to work and he'll give my mom the money to do the finances. He said he lent it from his dad. And the reason is your wife is not going to come out and ask you to go on holiday when you don't have the money because she knows exactly what's in the pot. So that gives me freedom to relax and say, this is what we have and this is what we work with. So you don't have to be trying. Because I think most of the times what happens is someone then will come and say, let's go and do this. And because you're hiding, you don't want to say, oh, I don't have it. You then go and start doing those credit. You go into bad credit because you're looking for payday loans and things like that. So yeah, I think honesty
Exactly.
is the
Honesty and
core.
transparency. Just own it. Just say, listen, sweetheart, I don't have.
We are still learning.
We are
We
still
all
learning.
learning.
So
Yeah,
conversations like this will let people be a bit more transparent with their loved
yeah,
ones. And I hope that it just makes people talk about their finances, because finances is money is not a bad word. It's just that when we are always whispering, it sounds bad, but we just need to just talk. So again, people don't like talking, so they can come and talk to me. As everybody has seen me, I can talk so much. Yeah, book a call and we can go deeper into this. But yeah, it's an hour podcast and I'm telling people life business. But yeah, if you have
yeah.
any issues,
There's a lot that you're sharing with people, and it also shows your passion in terms of getting people to understand how money works and
yeah.
how you can, develop those better relationships with your money. Okay, let's talk about resources.
Uh-huh.
You talked about the spreadsheets that you can offer people. You also talked about the sessions that people can book, and have a session with you to help them to have that kind of a starting point, to build a starting point where you can give them the tools they need to start. And obviously, once they start, you let them go. But if they want to come back, they can come back and get more information, advice, and guidance from you. Is there anything else that anyone listening now can actually just get onto it and try to start understanding their credit score, how they can manage their money better, budgeting, and things like that?
So I implore everybody to download the budgeting app, okay? And let's just see where your money goes. Then after you've done that, give yourself 6 months of being consistent. It's like doing a diet. Just see how your money is and humble yourself and see where things are going. Then after that, if it's still a bit difficult, you need more help, and you especially have a debt issue, if you know you have a lot of money outstanding, you owe a lot of credit card companies loans, download the debt spreadsheet, find out who you owe, how much you owe, and let's start tackling them one credit card at a time. But there's no benefit in ignoring them. Please, let's own it. Let's talk to them. Let's freeze it. If you need help, like Ezra said, book a call. We can go into deeper. Obviously, follow my newsletter. I'll send out newsletters once a week with my new hint and tips of the week. But let's continue to have this conversation and talk to people and just be disciplined and consistent, because I keep on saying it, in your lifetime, you will handle money. So what I'm telling you today, if you don't start today, you will start next year, you will start 10 years from now, you'll start 20 years from now. So you might as well start today, because you're alive and you handle money. So you need I don't see how you can survive without oxygen. I don't see how you can live on this earth and handle something called money and don't know where it's going. My suggestion is the spreadsheet. So it's free. Just download it, put your numbers in. If you need help, book a call with me, and just keep updating yourself, because while you hold money, you think about money, you worry about money, you're holding this thing that is powerful, that makes people commit suicide. You're holding something called money that makes people go crazy, that makes people kill. Let's learn how to use it wisely so that you can also tell somebody else. So
Thank you, Natasha. Obviously, on top of that, there is a module that is totally free that I will put in the description box below. It is from the Open University Open Learn. It will help you to understand, again, anything to do with money, how to manage your money, how to budget your money. But I think sometimes it is important to sit down with someone and expect, like Natasha, to give you that starting point, give you all the information, the advice and guidance that you need to start you off on a journey. Starting is always the most difficult thing. So if you have someone to hold your hand and give you the guidance that you need to get you started, then I would advise that you reach out to Natasha. And I think sometimes when you have that session with an expert, and then you start using the other resources, the budgeting tools, and also doing your own research in terms of like maybe registering on that free module, you have a better understanding of what exactly are you working on. So the resources are there, the resources are free.
And just add on to that, Ezra, everybody is saying that they want to invest, But what money are you investing with if you don't even have £1,000 for the unexpected? Are you using the £1,000 that I've asked you to save for an investment? But then if that investment doesn't doesn't materialize as quickly as you want, the unexpected is still waiting for you. So some people always want money to invest, but do you have money to borrow from yourself? You know what I mean? Don't borrow from a bank. Did you have the £1,000 under your bed to borrow from yourself? So therefore, when you have another £1,000, then that goes into investing. You know what I mean? It's surpluses that goes into investing. It's not the ones that you are needing that is critical that goes into investing. Investing is surplus money that you want to work for you, but you don't have surplus until you've covered the basics. So I know we're in a society of investing and double your money and quick cash and triple your cash. I hear it, I understand it. But let's do the basics first. Because once you've done the basics first, then you have even extra to put in this investing. But if you can't even do the basics and dogs are barking at you, what money are you using to invest? I'm sounding really Ghanaian today. Wow. All my Ghanaians on the
I'm
pool.
waiting for Charlie. What happened to Charlie?
Oh,
I
what
was
happened
waiting.
to Chale? Yeah, all the Ghanaians, please drop me a comment. Come and find your big sister Natasha. But yeah, I'm sounding very Ghanaian today.
That's good. That's good. Okay, cool. No, that's good. And you know what? I'm going to be cheeky. And last week when we had the first conversation, I said I'm going to ask you to come back and have another conversation because I feel like there's still more that we need to explore. So you know, you never know. I might be asking again
Yeah,
for
that's
another
for
one.
you.
Let's
You're making
make it a
you're
series.
utilizing my hammer talk. You like my hammer talk, okay?
Yeah. So we get people to get to understand a little bit more.
Because it's so true though, as just to interject, money is such an important topic. There's so many variations because there's people who need help with money, as in saving. There's people who need money help with investing. There's people who need money help with protecting their money. Money is such a multifaceted tool that different people, different journeys, different situations, different topic, different podcasts. Sorry, guys. So I think me and Ezra.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of value in what we are discussing at the moment. So I think it'll be good to continue the conversation and maybe next week.
Yeah, I think we should. We're on a roll, Ezra. We are on a
Well, you
roll.
heard it. You heard it here, guys. Next week, Natasha will be back with us, and we'll be continuing our conversation on money and relationships with money and financial well-being, financial freedom, all things to do with money. Yeah. Thank you very much, Natasha. I've enjoyed our conversation again and looking forward to our next conversation next week.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. Perfect. Any last words before we go?
No, please, guys, download the spreadsheet. It's free. So just email, download, start. If you need help, book a call. But basics, download the spreadsheet. It's free, it's easy. Type some numbers in and we can discuss if you need more help.
All right. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me today. And as you know, here at Lyfe Campus, our one and only goal is to empower your future. We want to give you information, advice, guidance, and all the tools and resources that you need to help you to make those informed decisions. That's why we sit down and have conversations with experts like Natasha today. So if you don't want to miss our next conversation next week, please subscribe, share with your family and friends. And thank you for joining me today. See you next week. All right.